Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Goonies World. I am Johnny Farrow, also known as Sean, and with me as always is my good friend Ryan, also known as Meanie.
Hello, also known as Thorson tonight.
Yes, and of course I have my other good friend Colin, also known as Goonie.
Hello.
Hello. And tonight we are playing GURPS Vikings again, and therefore, we are in the world of Midgard in Norway, sometime in the Middle Ages. We're specifically in the Trondheim region, where King Harald Fairhair is with his traveling court at the hall of Jarl Hakon. And our heroes, the powerful but fearful Thor Thorson and the mystical but delusional Umlaut Topknot, have just returned from a mission to collect tribute from the Finns in the mountains. And the tribute was in the form of skins and furs, and they had to spill some blood to get the Finns to cooperate. So after getting that, after negotiating some cliffs, after overcoming Thor's fear of reindeer, and just possibly encountering Odin in disguise, our heroes have returned to Trondheim. Now, Kari, the king's cousin, is in love with Thor, but the sneaky Thorolf Smooth-Tooth, he's jealous of this love, and he has the king's ear, unfortunately. And in fact, it was Smooth-Tooth's machinations that led to Thor and Umlaut being sent off to gather taxes in the first place. So, Smooth-Tooth has a brother named Yngwie Hump, and Kari has warned you guys that, they've been telling the king lies about you while you've been gone, hoping to discredit you. And the whole time you've been gone, Kari's had to sit on Smooth-Tooth's lap in the feasting hall and pour his mead. Because that's how, a Viking girl shows her favor to a Viking, is that she'll sit on his lap during the feasts and pour his mead for him. But now that you're back, Kari's once again on Thor's lap. And the long Norwegian night has fallen, and the northern lights are dancing in the sky over Jarl Hakon's feasting hall. And all the karls, or the warriors of the king, are once again gathered for feasting and fellowship and boasting and the telling of tales. But of course, Smooth-Tooth and his brother Yngwie Hump, they're glowering at you both. They're important guys. They get to sit up by the king. And you did get some furs and brought them back. It wasn't like as much as you thought it might be. It wasn't this huge, rich haul of furs. But you gave the king his fair share, which was the lion's share. And so now you're in there, and the firelight's flickering on the dark wood, and the shadows are all dancing throughout the hall. But suddenly you see Yngwie Hump stand up. And he leaves his place by the king. They all call him that because he has a humpback. But he's still a pretty powerful warrior. He's known to, he's got this huge two-handed axe that he's known to be pretty proficient with. But he walks over to where you guys are sitting. Now, of course, there's conversations happening all around. This isn't on a public stage or anything. But he's eyeballing you, Umlaut. He's giving you the stink eye. He's got like a little quizzical expression on his face, like a little smug. And Umlaut, you can see that the shadow he's casting is the shadow of a huge wolf upon the wall. Now, of course, Thor, you don't see this because Umlaut's completely delusional. But maybe, just maybe, those delusions have, something of truth in them. But standing there in front of this huge wolf shadow he's casting on the wall, Yngwie Hump says, So, Umlaut, I have heard it said that you once wanted to be a skald. Is this true?
Yes, when I was very little, I dreamt of writing poetry all of my day.
Oh, well, why did you not do so? so sad that your dreams did not come true? Were you just not good enough? Is that the problem, Umlaut?
It was the other people's problems that did not understand my poetry. They did not appreciate it. But I thought it was quite nice.
I see. Well, would you be interested to know that I, in a dream that was sent to me by the gods, I have learned how to give you the gift of poetry that everyone would understand. Do you want to know?
So you are suggesting you give me the powers to make sort of popular type of poetry?
Oh, I would not
appeal to the
you,
masses?
I would not give you the powers. I can merely tell you how to give... Yes, how to give the masses the right frame of mind to appreciate your poetry, which apparently was just over everyone's head. Meanwhile, Kari, she's still sitting on your lap, Thor, and she whispers in your ear, she goes, "He's trying to provoke Umlaut. He's trying to start a fight."
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think Umlaut is very rational person. He's not going to jump up and bash him in the head or anything. And besides, fighting is, it's overrated.
Yes, but you're so powerful, Thor. I know you can fight. That's why I like you.
Well, I mean, I can fight, but it's best to diplomacy. It's best to avoid conflict when possible. I think we can talk this out.
Oh, you're so sensitive, like a woman. And she kisses you on the cheek. Yeah. Meanwhile, Yngwie says, "No, I will tell you. I had a dream that was sent to me by Bragi, the god of music and poetry. And so, if you really want this for yourself, Umlaut, all you need to do is to carve the rune for sound and signals onto your tongue. And then you will receive the gift of poetry, and everyone will listen. The gods have decreed it to be so. You see, Odin carved the rune for sound and signals onto Bragi's tongue, and that is how he became the skald of the gods. So if you truly wanted to be a skald, then you would carve the rune upon your tongue, Umlaut. Bragi told me in the dream to tell you this. Do you have the courage to do so, or do you ignore the signs of the gods, Umlaut?" And again, he's just smirking at you. And now a couple people are starting to pay attention. They can tell there's some tension.
If the gods wanted me to carve my tongue with this rune, then they would have appeared in my dreams, and they have not done so. And I don't know I trust your dreams, because they are not prophetic like mine are.
Oh, and tell me, what do you dream of your future? What do you dream of your good friend Thor's future? Tell us all what you see in the future of your mighty friend Thor, who is obviously so popular with the ladies. And there's some giggling at that.
Oh, I see. Thor and I will have many great adventures together. We will cross seas, and we will meet new peoples. We will have many great battles. We will converse with the gods. And finally, we will dine in the great hall, Valhalla.
I see. So you will be very great, man. Would you say that Thor would be even greater than our good King Harold?
Well, I don't know if I could say that. But I think he will achieve great success, and he will be not better, but perhaps just different. Just in his own way, he will be great. Yes.
I see. Well, Thor is certainly like a lion, and every lion needs his cur or his jackal. Isn't that right, Umlaut? And then he turns around with a smug look, as if he scored some real killing point.
I don't know what that guy's problem was.
Begins to walk back to his seat, and Kari says to you, Thor, look at Smooth-Tooth. And Smooth-Tooth's up there at the king's table whispering, in the king's ear while he's looking at you. He's telling lies about you right now. You should go up there and ask my cousin, the king, for my hand in marriage before Smooth-Tooth turns the king's mind against you. If you don't want me to marry Smooth-Tooth, you'll ask the king for my hand, won't you? Oh, Thor, my brothers all think you're the best. They want to go a Viking with you. Their ship's ready for you to take command of any time. But surely you must go ask the king for my hand. Oh, Thor, please, Thor.
I will go ask the king. Yes, but this will likely provoke Smooth-Tooth. But I will have to negotiate with him so that we don't have to fight, because fighting is very bad. It's, we're all friends here.
If you say so, because I know that you're no coward, Thor. I know you're a bold and brave man. Just look at you, with your broad shoulders. Go ask him. Go get him, big boy.
Yes, very well. And Thor will reach over and grab his, pewter goblet of mead and throw back whatever's left in there, and then storm up to the king.
Okay. Do you go with him, Umlaut, or do you keep your seat?
Well, yes, I would like to accompany him. Yeah. Just to, as backup,
Yeah, it's always good to have your entourage, have a man to speak for you, And, but the king kind of holds a hand out to stop Smooth-Tooth from whispering in his ear, and now everybody's looking at you, and the talk in the hall kind of dies down a little bit. Someone's about to approach the king. And, of course, the king in this culture, he's like the first among equals. I mean, he's not exactly all-powerful, but Harold Fairhair has fought his way up to the top, and he's a jealous guy, too, And so obviously when Yngwie was asking, Umlaut to prophesy about how great Thor would be, he's obviously trying to provoke the king's jealousy, But Harold sees you approach and goes, Thor Thorson, who brought back that small amount of skins and taxes for me. What have you to say to me, Thor Thorson, here at this great feast in this great hall on this beautiful evening?
Well, Highness, Your Majesty, I have been requested by Kari to, we are quite in love, you see, and she has, requested that I ask you for permission to have her hand in marriage.
Oh, I see. She has asked this. And what have you
done? Well, we talked about it, we made a little back and forth,
Yes, I see. Well, nothing would please me more, Thor, because your father did great service for me. But I'm troubled. I'll be honest. I'm troubled in my heart, Thor. Troubled by accusations that my good Karl Thorolf Smooth-Tooth has made against you. Now, when I sent you to bring those furs and skins back as tribute from the Finns, you and Umlaut, you came back and you brought me a small amount. And you said that, you didn't get a whole lot. You gave me my rightful share, it's true, but I was very disappointed in it. But now, Smooth-Tooth here is telling me that he and his brother saw you two bringing back a huge sleigh load of hundreds and hundreds of seal skins and ermine skins and fox skins. And if that's true, then my share should have been much, 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 much greater than what you gave me. So they say that you're trying to... Oh, you have something to say, Umlaut?
If I may, those were lies.
Lies? Well, if furthermore, they say that you, Thor, you're trying to enrich yourself so you can be a great giver of gifts and draw men to your side and show people that you're greater than me and better than me. And if this is true, this is very troubling. How do you answer these charges? Do you say they're lies like your friend Umlaut?
Well, it is quite possible that that Mr. Smooth-Tooth thinks he saw something that he did not see, because it is not possible. We did not have, and I'm turning Russian for some reason, we did not have hundreds of skins. We had the small pittance that the stupid, pathetic peasant Finns were able to give us.
If I may...
It was a pittance unfit for your majesty, but it's all we could get.
If I may...
I will go back there right now and beat them all into submission until they give us all the more skins.
And
if it pleases your
I
Highness.
would like to second that. We did not get this big haul of furs and keep them to ourselves. That is not true at all.
Well, if
For some
I
reason you said-
may, Smooth-Tooth says, I am willing, and so is my brother, to give our sworn word under oath that we saw you bringing back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of skins, and that
How
you're
is that
holding
even
back.
possible?
That you're holding back. Yes, you had a sleigh and a great mighty reindeer pulled. Of course, it was like an old ass decrepit reindeer, you know, and a great mighty reindeer. I'm willing to swear it under oath, and I now shall do so. I swear in front of the great All-Father that I have seen Thor, Thorson, and Umlaut Topknot bringing back hundreds of fine seal skins and ermine skins and fox skins, and that they have withheld our good King Harold's rightful portion from him. And you swear it too, don't you, my good brother? And Yngwie Hump nods. I swear it, of course.
Well,
I don't
How do
know
you
why
answer
everybody is against us. I don't know what we have done to deserve this, but these are not true accusations.
well, Thor's fear of fighting is a 1-point quirk, and his bad temper is a 10-point disadvantage. So
That's true. I'm sure that it's going to get to him eventually. Well, the king says, you know, as far as whether everybody is against you, I very much doubt that. In fact, I would say opinion is quite divided equally between the adherents of Thorson, and the adherents of Smooth-Tooth. But the law of our people is very clear. We have an impasse here. We must invoke the ancient practice of the Holmgang, which is like a judicial fight. And if you two can't agree, we'll just have to appeal to the gods. So Thorson and Umlaut Topknot, do you accept this challenge of the Holmgang? A fight between yourselves and Thorolf Smooth-Tooth and Yngwie Hump?
Well, I gave an unrequested willpower roll to Thor to see if he would be able to resist, exploding with rage, essentially. And he rolled a 16, so that's not great.
No.
So yeah, he's like super pissed, and he's just going to sneer and say, well, why not now? And he will just leap in the direction of Smooth-Tooth.
Okay. Well, and Harold, gets up and stands out of the way, and he's like, wait! Restrain your friend, he says. There are rules to this. Do you want to try to grab him and hold your friend back, Umlaut, just for a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute. We have to do this.
To make opposed strength rolls, both of you.
Right.
A quick contest of strength in GURPS terms. Because what they probably want to do is clear out the floor and have some formality here, but great depiction of the bad temper disadvantage, however, Thor. So we'll see if your friend can hold you back. It just makes you look tougher anyway, if your friend's got to restrain you. But you actually startled the king a little bit. I mean, he stood up and backed off, and you see there's a look of fear behind Smooth-Tooth's eyes. But so what did you roll for your strength roll there, Umlaut?
8.
Okay, how about you?
Thor got a 10.
Okay, well, in that case, he is able to restrain you just for a minute, No, there's ways we go about this. And, you still...
And Thor's going to do the whole, not really trying to, struggle to get out, but he's going to, act like he's trying to get out.
Right. Smooth-Tooth. Meanwhile, the other people, they're, pushing tables out, from the center of the room, making a space, clearing a space. There's some excitement. You see there's coins starting to change hands. People are starting to make bets. Yngwie Hump is getting out his huge axe. And he's like, And he says, "So, will you fight too, Umlaut, or are you a chicken? Caw, caw, caw. Are you a chicken? Caw." And then Smooth Tooth joins him. He's like, a coodle-doodle-doo, a coodle-doodle-doo.
Those are not chicken sounds. First you make the sound of crow, and then you make, I don't know what that second one was. But
So
I
you're
am
not
not afraid. With Thor Thorson at my side, we will be unstoppable.
Very well. And so after this show of anger and rage, the stage is now set. Now there's a big flickering fire in the center of the room, which is actually like inconveniently right in the middle of the fighting area, right? So you have to like face each other across the fire. It's like in the way. It's like a big fire pit, right? But they've pushed the tables out of the way, and people are gathering, and you can see there's kind of some sides. These guys have a lot of kin. They've got a pretty popular uncle named Bolg the Bulge, and a lot of his people are gathering around him. But Kari and her brothers, who all kind of idolize you, Thor, there's you just don't have like a huge family or kin network, which is pretty important in this culture, and Smooth Tooth and Yngwie do. But you're all facing each other, and the king claps his hands twice, which is a signal that the combat should begin. Now, Smooth Tooth, he has a sword, a long sword, and he has a shield as well. He's armed similarly to Umlaut. But Yngwie Hump, he has this huge two-handed axe. I mean, it's so big and heavy. He's got to ready it after every time he swings it. He's got to take a ready action, right? Your two-handed sword, luckily, Thor does not have that same characteristic. But, and I believe, in terms of your move scores,
we're both 6, but his basic speed is higher, I think, Umlaut's is.
Yes, so, yes, I believe... And you guys are both faster than them. So, Umlaut, you would... the king has clapped his hands, and you may take the first move in this Holmgang, or judicial combat. See who's a liar.
So are we fighting like one-on-one? Like, am I fighting Yngwie and he's fighting...
You can fight whoever you want. There's 2-on-2, basically.
Free-for-all or what? But,
well, it's these two guys are fighting you. So whoever you choose to go attack first.
Well, I think I'll fight Yngwie. Not that it matters too much, but I think, Smooth Tooth is the one that's trying to take Thor's girl, so...
Sure.
I will attack Yngwie with my... What do I have? Broadsword.
All right, now you're all close enough here that you'll have to step and attack. You have to move in and attack, but you can do both of those things with this action.
Step up. Swing then.
All right. Yeah, so the firelight flickers on your sword.
That'll be a 7.
Hey, that's going to hit unless, of course, Yngwie can dodge that. He would love to parry it, but he's smart enough to know that would unready his axe, So he's going to try to dodge out of the way, but his dodge is only 5. And he's got an 8 here, so he does not dodge it. So you may roll your damage for your sword.
Too slow with your hump.
And there's a swing damage, probably.
Swing damage.
Swing damage.
Where is that? Oh, okay.
Well, you're cutting damage, in other words.
3. That'd be 6 swing damage.
Okay, 6. Now he's got a little bit of DR, but he's going to take a bit of damage. In fact, he'll take 4 points of damage off of his health. And that's how you do it. And then, actually, I think it would actually next be Thorolf, and then we'll go back down to you guys. So, Thorolf Smooth Tooth, with a smirk, and he does this flashy swings his sword around, over his head during his step and attack as he attempts to step up to Thor. He's got his shield ready up. He's going to try to block, if he gets attacked. But he makes his sword roll, and he rolls pretty good. He rolls a 7, actually, which is not bad at all. And this is exactly half of his skill level of 14. But, of course, Thor, I believe you are fairly adept at the parry, if not the dodge. He's
going to attempt to parry it, and he rolls right on his parry. He needed a 13, he got a 13.
Well, that's great. And sparks fly as your swords collide, and stop his sword from coming in and make a connection with you. And then we'll go ahead and have you go, and then Yngwie Hump will bring up the rear of the round. So go ahead and make your counterattack, Thor. And you don't have to step either. You could make the all-out attack maneuver because you don't have to move. And that means that you could attack twice or attack once at +4 to hit and +2 damage.
But then I can't... Can I not dodge next round or parry next round, or does that just count for this round?
You would only be able to make passive defenses, right? So you wouldn't be able to... Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay, so Thor is going to throw his sword onto the ground and attempt to grapple Smooth-Tooth. Like one hand, because he's got the shield, right? So the idea is like one hand on his shoulder, one hand in his groin. He's going to try to literally pick him up.
Okay.
He's making it very personal.
No, this makes sense to me.
Fight him like a man. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll make a brawling attack, but because he's armed and you're not, we make is it a -2? But
well, I got a 12 when he did 12. So.
There you go. So you grabbed him. Now we're going to make, again with the opposed strength rolls. Well, you've grabbed him, actually, and that is what happens on this turn. So you've got him grabbed at this point. And so we're going to put to Yngwie. Meanwhile, we swing back over to Yngwie and Umlaut, who are fighting. And his axe is already up over his head, right? He's going to unready it by swinging it down as hard as he can. But I'm afraid that is a 14, which is more than his skill of 12. And a big chunk of wood comes out of the floor right by your feet, Umlaut, where he swings down and misses. And then it's your turn. What do you do?
You will regret that. I'm going to swing at him.
Yeah, and he's not going to be able to parry this because his weapon's unready. And
no, I got a 13, so that hits.
well, it says he tries to dodge, but he rolls a 10, which is not going to make him dodge. And so you may roll the damage. In fact, last time you actually really did 6 points of damage to him, not 4, because of the cutting multiplier. So
I don't. So this time, I got the same thing. I have a 6.
Okay.
And then with the multiplier, I don't know what that is.
Okay. Well, it does 0.5 more because it's cutting. And once it got of the damage that gets through. But you did 6 points of damage to him again. Now he's actually down below his health. And now these minions you fought earlier, in the last game, they just went down. But he's actually at 0 or less hit points left now. He has to actually make a health test. But he's going to make that at the beginning of the turn because he's kind of staggering. He might fall unconscious right now, but he might be able to keep going. So he'll do that at the start of his turn. And meanwhile, Smooth-Tooth is grabbed, and you grappled him, and he's going to try to break out of the grapple here. So make an opposed strength test with him, or you can actually substitute either wrestling or brawling if that's going to be better for you. Unfortunately, he rolled pretty badly here. He has a 14. I think you're going to be able to hold on to him.
I rolled a 8, so yeah.
Okay, yeah. You've got him still. He's grabbed, and you may do. It's your turn, so you may do with him as you will.
Well, Thor's intention was to literally, like, how big is Smooth-Tooth?
He's not as big as you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what Thor was intending to do was to scream at the top of his lungs this battle yell, and literally lift Smooth-Tooth up over his head and throw him into the fire.
Okay. Well, actually, what is your strength again?
15.
15. You're going to be able to throw him that far. That's just like 1 hex away, so that's not going to be a problem. Now, he flies over towards the fire. He lands in it. Because he's landed in the fire, he's actually going to take, now, 1d minus 3 damage just for that, initial landing in the fire. But takes 3 points of damage. And I'm not applying the DR to that because obviously there's parts of him that aren't armored, right? Like his hands and his neck and his face. We have to account for that. Even though DR normally does help against fire, I think the hit locations should matter. So he's like, just high-pitched screams. And there's great roars of laughter. Everyone seems to think this was, except, of course, from his uncle, Bolg the Bulge, and their side, who are all, raising their fists and yelling as if some terribly unfair thing has just happened. But it's really entertained everyone else. But he, unfortunately, does take 3 points of damage from the fire. He's on his turn, obviously going to try to roll out, but that's funny. And his furs are kind of smoking a little bit, and you can't help it. No, even King Harold kind of giggles a little bit at that one, and let's see, I lost track of who was going in what order. It was then.
It should be
him.
Turn, I think.
No, he just went. So then he tried to get away and couldn't. You threw him in the fire, and now Yngwie Hump is going to ready his weapon. That's all he can do. I mean, he yanks his weapon up out of the floor and he lifts it up over his head, but that's all he can do in his turn because he's really hoping to hit you at least once so he can cut you in half. But we're back up to you now. Oh, wait, first, before he did that, he has to make his health roll or fall unconscious. And would you believe he actually got a 6 on that one? That was pretty good for 3 dice. So he's not down yet, but you could tell. I mean, his knees are buckling. He's just trying to get one more.
Yeah, with his remaining life, he's trying to get one big, giant swipe in at me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to try to make a very cinematic-looking kill. My sword. Now it's time for you to die, wolf. And that would be an 11.
Okay. He's not even remotely. In fact, that was actually a critical failure on a dodge attempt. And GURPS friends, I don't really know what the rule is for a critical failure on a dodge attempt. Feels like it should be bad, but I don't know what it is. So we're just going to assume that it's just a normal failure to dodge.
All right, well, yeah, I'm going to roll my damage.
I think this is an ad hoc rule. I'm going to throw in a +2. Yeah.
I keep rolling the same thing, so that would be altogether, if he, it would be, he takes 6 damage.
Okay, and I'm going to give a +2 just because he actually leaned into your blow, right? And not an official rule, but I'm just throwing that in. And so now you've got him he's now down at negative health, all right? He's at his negative health. And he is going to have to, again, make that. He's still up, but he's going to have to make that health roll as soon as before he can do anything else. So don't let me forget that. And, blood's sprayed across the room. There's great cheering, and this is highly entertaining for everyone involved. And it seems like you guys are getting the better of them. Meanwhile, Smooth-Tooth, like, rolls out of the... This is all he could do in his turn, is just essentially move. But he actually changes positions. So he goes from essentially lying down, in the fire. He kind of rolls off into a kneeling stance. But that's all he can do. You have to go from laying to kneeling to then to standing. So he's kneeling, and then but he's like patting down his furs and blowing on his hands, and it's rather comical, actually. And then it's your turn, of course. You're standing right there over him, and you don't have any. And you wouldn't have any bonus to hit him because he's kneeling, but he would definitely have a penalty to his defense because he's kneeling.
Yeah. And so yeah, for as entertained as some other people were, but Thor is not. He doesn't even hear the laughter. He doesn't notice anybody being entertained. He's just focused in 100% on Smooth-Tooth. And
seeing the red mist before his eyes, as they say in the Icelandic sagas.
Right. So he'll pick up his two-handed sword, and I assume he's going to have to step towards him and take a swing.
Well, no, I figure you're all kind of yeah, because you did throw him, and you threw him a hex away. So yeah, you'd step and attack, and go ahead and take that swing.
Well, that's going to be a 10 that will hit.
Okay, he's going to try to. Well, he's going to try to block that with a shield, but he's at a -2 because he's kneeling, right? So his shield skill is 7, so he's doing this. He needs a 5 or less, and he rolled an 11. So that rather significant two-handed sword with a guy with 15 strength damage is going to come crashing down on Smooth-Tooth.
Nine points.
Okay, and have you already done the math, or we want to go ahead and add in 0.5 more? Which would,
if you add half on top of that obviously it'd be 4, so it'd be 13. Yeah,
13. Yeah, and well, he's got a little bit of DR from the shield and the fur, but that still takes him down. He's at 0 or less points left on his turn. Yeah, I mean, in fact, I don't even mind kind of narrating. There's rules for breaking shields, but I don't even mind a little narration of just smashing right through that shield. He raised it up, and you just crunched right through it into his arm. We're not doing hit location for you GURPS people. We're using the basic combat system. But that certainly hurts him like hell, and he's also going to have to, on the beginning of his turn, he's going to have to make a health roll or fall unconscious. And it is now Yngwie Hump's turn, and Yngwie Hump has to make that roll or fall unconscious, and his eyeballs actually go. He's, how he raised up the thing. But when he raised it, he just can't do it. He raised the axe up. He wanted to bring it down so bad. But you see his eyeballs. He kind of rolls. His eyes roll up into the back of his head, and his knees buckle, and he just falls backwards.
It's too late for you.
Yeah, now he's down on the ground, unconscious and prone in front of you, and it is your turn. Do you want to finish him?
I want to actually carve in that rune that he wanted. I want to carve it into his forehead. So,
okay, yeah, it kind of looks like a little. It kind of looks like a letter F with the tines like sloping downwards, and oh my god, yeah.
Let's say, now that's poetry.
Wow, yeah, that's not what the crowd was expecting, but they love it. However, now though, the mood's getting super, super ugly among their uncle, Bolg the Bulge, and his boys. The mood's getting super ugly now, but you see the king, he holds his hand up, like stopping them from interfering at the moment. And so he's going to live through this, at this point, right? But he's going to be humiliated when he wakes up. And meanwhile, Smooth-Tooth has to make his health roll. And dear God, that one is critically failed. And Okay, well, he falls unconscious. I was looking to see if there's something like instant death or something, but there's not. But he has fallen unconscious as well. The pain was too great from that blow. And do you want to finish? You're in the red rage, though. You're seeing the red mist. You got the blood pumping in your ears. Do you want to finish him off?
Split his head
Kill
open.
Smooth Tooth?
I'm going to give. I'm gonna give Thor a little willpower test, and if he fails it, he's gonna do one of two things.
Okay.
And he fails it.
Thor. Okay. Wow.
And I'm gonna just roll a 50-50. So even, he's going to finish Smooth Tooth by hacking his head off with one blow.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's odd, he's just going to raise the sword over his head and scream and charge at his uncle.
Okay.
That's odd. So he's leaving Smooth Tooth alive, raising a sword over his head, and charging at the rowdy, upset Hump.
Okay. Bulge.
Yes, sorry.
The
Hump was
Bulge. And he's got his name for a totally different reason. He ain't got no humpback. I'll tell you that right now. Well, I'll tell you this, though. This is totally against the ancient laws of the Holmgang, and the whole place, they just like run in and like grab you, your friends, allies, everybody, like whoa, 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 and you hear people grab you like cool down, man, and slapping your face. You've won, by God, by the gods, you've won. And but he's.
I'd probably try to stop him as well, just like I did earlier.
Yeah, you and everybody. Yeah, but of course, Bolg the Bulge. He got the thing where you like point at your own eyeballs with the two fingers and then point it back at the other point, like I'm watching you. I got your number. He does that, and him and all his boys, they storm out in high dudgeon. They storm out of the room, but the rest of the place just erupts into a frenzy of excitement. Before you guys know it, the crowds are like hefted you guys up onto their shoulders, and they're dancing around there. People are stepping on, Yngwie and on Smooth Tooth, and who are unconscious and they're not, getting crushed to death or anything, but they're completely humiliated. They're dancing around the room. They're singing songs about your greatness, and there's some extemporaneous poetry going on there. And hey, go ahead and both make vision rolls through the smoke and the sweat and all that, just to see if there's anything special that those vision rolls are IQ rolls.
Unfortunately, Thor has no IQ.
He's oblivious. Yeah.
I got 9, so 1 under mine.
Okay, well, you can't help but notice, though, as you're bouncing around up on everyone's shoulders, that, at first, King Harold was kind of clapping and laughing, but when he sees now, he's, like, looking at Thor, how everybody just thinks Thor is so great and mighty, and he's kind of a jealous type anyway. And you just see this kind of look pass between his eyes, like he's not super crazy about all the attention Thor is getting at this moment. But then, Kari, of course, fights her way up into the crowd, Thor, and gives you a big kiss. And her brothers are all patting. In fact, her brothers are the ones that are, got you up on their shoulders and like, when spring comes, let's go a Viking, Thor. Yes, you'll be the captain of our ship, Thor. And King Harold finally gets everybody calmed down. He goes, well, calm down, everyone. Very well. Get those two out of here. You really should have finished them off. They're going to be very humiliated when they wake up. But, well, Thorson, the gods have proven you right. Apparently those brothers are telling lies about you, says the king. And, well, I do hereby give you the hand of young Kari in marriage. However, the marriage will take place next spring, as we will accrue the revenues of her land for one more season. And another fairly common thing is they would have fairly long wait times between actual betrothals. Usually, because she's inheriting land, you know what I mean? She's going to take all our father's land, and he wants the revenues for one more year, essentially. But yes. And now, get those other two out of here, and if you're quite finished being hailed as a hero, Thor, let us not forget that you almost broke the ancient laws of Holmgang by attacking Bolg the Bulge.
Well, I apologize, Highness. I was in a blind rage.
Well, since you broke there's nothing I'm going to be able to do if they declare a blood feud between their family and yours. My hands will be tied. You understand this? Yes?
Yes, of course. I will kill them all if I must.
Very well. Well,
but I hope that will not be necessary, of course.
I hope it will not be necessary, too. I cannot have my karls all fighting each other. But perhaps we should launch an expedition against the Finns at some point in the near future just to channel everyone's energies into a healthy direction. But for now, let us drink, let us feast, and continue on. Again, get those two losers out of here, he says as people drag there's a few members of the family who didn't stalk out, go and drag their Smooth Tooth and Yngwie Hump out of the place. And there's more revelry, and the brothers of Kari, they say, "So, Thor, when the spring comes and the thaws come, we have a Drakkar." A Drakkar is like a classic Viking ship, like a dragon ship, sleek and narrow and long. Will you lead an expedition with us? We'll follow you. You're going to need lots more treasure if you're going to take care of our sister.
Well, I think that is a very good idea. Yes.
Yes.
I have foreseen it. We will go on a great voyage together.
Well, speaking of voyages, my brothers and I, we do not stand on ceremony, and it's clear that Kari cares for you very much, and you'll have no problem from us if you don't want to wait until next spring for the actual, consummation of your marriage. If you care to take our sister back to your steading this evening, you won't have any trouble from us. Of course, Umlaut lives there too. He'll just sleep up on the loft or something. But after more drinking, do you want to take her back, or do you want to observe propriety and wait? They don't give a shit.
I'm going to give him another willpower test.
Okay.
Take her to Pound Town.
Oh, yeah, he rolled a 17. He's going to take her to Pound Town.
Okay, all right, yeah. He actually, I think, critically failed that test. He probably carries her off right then. She's up over the shoulder, out the door, right then.
Like a fucking caveman.
Yeah, and of course, like I say, though, Umlaut has to sleep in the loft or something that night because he lives at your steading. The steading's just like a little log house. You kind of build them temporarily when you're traveling around with the King's Court. But,
well, there won't be any sleeping from Umlaut.
No, not for a while. And we won't get into all that. We won't roleplay all that out. But time does pass, and eventually, the feast ends, and Umlaut, you stagger back to, Thor's steading, and by this time, though, I think we can artfully or artlessly, as the case may be, narrate that Thor and Kari are, by this point, asleep on a big bearskin rug in front of the fire unless Thor...
Yeah. No, well, I think that's fine. I would only artlessly like to insert the detail that we managed to, annoy everyone within screaming distance.
Oh yeah, of course.
For quite a while, and they're all very upset.
And animals were on edge as well.
Yeah. Luckily, on the way back though, you notice Umlaut that the reindeer that's hitched outside of Thor's house in the little pen was so discombobulated that it urinated quite a bit. If you'd like to, his quirk being that he enjoys the taste of reindeer piss. But if you want to have a nice drink of reindeer piss to wash out your mouth from all that mead.
Yes. It's good when they are fearful. They let go of their bladders.
maybe that reindeer's been eating some of those mushrooms. You never know. And but you go into the steading and you go past where Thor is snoring. And Kari's his using his blonde chest hair as a pillow. She's all snuggled up next to him under the bearskin rug with the dying embers of the fire. And you go up onto the loft and you lay down, Umlaut, and eventually fall asleep. And you have a dream. You have a pretty vivid dream. Maybe that reindeer had been eating some mushrooms earlier, but you have a dream that you and Thor are in a ship, and you're following a raven across the sea. This raven is leading you into the west. You're sailing into the west, and you sail through storms and past strange lands, and in the distance you see a land of towering pine trees that are heavily bearded with moss, and there are rivers full of leaping trout and salmon, and there are naked men covered in paint with feathers in their hair, all hailing you as heroes and leaders. And you see Thor building a longhouse, and you see a little pregnant Kari running around, and you see these little blonde children that Thor is teaching how to sword fight. But you wake up to this strange sound, like right above your head. It feels like kind of like crackling wood, and there's the smell of smoke. And you wake up, Umlaut, and you realize that the log house is on fire. It's on fire, and you're up on the loft. Like the roof is on fire. The roof is mostly like turf anyway, and dried mosses and stuff. But yeah, it's on fire, and you look down, and Thor, you're just about you were out of it, but that's going to wake you up too, right?
The roof is on fire.
And Kari kind of grabs onto you, Thor, and she goes, "The house is on fire!" And by the way, burning someone out of their house is considered to be like the most dishonorable and cowardly thing that you can do to somebody. But that is exactly what you think might be happening to you right now.
Well, Thor's not even going to bother getting dressed. He's just going to grab his sword and bolt out into the village screaming, "Bulge!"
Well, when you do that, and what are you doing, Umlaut?
Well, I'd probably want to... So I don't know if I have time to get my stuff or not. I'm up in the loft, but I would like to.
You might have just... You were drunk when you came home anyway. You might have just fallen down in your clothes. You had no reason to take them off. Thor did, but you didn't. Okay, well, I'll assume you run out after him. Kari is throwing on her woolen dress. But, yeah, naked Thor runs out into the cold. And as bold as you are and as bad-tempered as you are, you stop for a second when you see like about 3 dozen dudes all standing in this line around the house. They've all got torches. And Bolg yells out, "I am Bolg the Bulge, uncle of Thorolf Smooth-Tooth, uncle of Yngwie Hump, and we, their kin, we demand a weregeld," which is like a price you got to pay, "of 1,000 silver penningars as compensation for our loss." You don't even have 5 silver penningars. They're demanding compensation, payment. There are dozens and dozens of these guys. There are way too many to fight them, and even you know that in your rage. But and you're both standing there. But Kari comes up, she grabs you, Thor. She says, Wait, listen. My brothers they're on their ship down at the river Nadelva now in their Drakkar. They're outfitted for sailing. Come with me. Let's run away and find a new place to settle and live happily ever after, Thor. Oh, please, Thor. There's no dishonor in running from a fight like this. You can't win this fight. Take me away, Thor, please.
It is true, Thor. I had a dream last night. I saw you. I saw us. We went to a foreign land. You built a long house. You had kids. I think this is what we must do.
So Thor is going to narrow his eyes in the direction of Bolg. And he's going to say, "Well, clearly I cannot fight all of you. So I will take my leave. However, I will be back."
And
Yes, we'll kill him when we come back.
please come this way. And she takes you away, and they follow you. They follow you all the way down to the river, hurling insults the whole way, trying to make it as hard, for you as possible, and add insult to injury. But her brothers, they're waking up. They're all ready to go a Viking all the time. They can't wait. So they had their Drakkar all outfitted and ready to go. And when they see who coming, and they see Bolg coming down the hill with all his cousins and nephews, and they immediately hoist their square sail and jump to the oars. And it's still dark, but they help you guys onto the boat, and you throw Kari onto the boat. And I think as you sail away to the taunts of Bolg the Bulge, "Don't come back without that 1,000 silver penningars, or else," he yells. But they seem happy that you're just gone.
And we have a shot, from the sky of this boat sailing west off, into the distance. And then we hear Thor's voice say, "What are you looking at?" "Oh, it's cold."
Yes.
It's always cold, though.
Yes. And we're just going to leave it there for tonight, and we'll see where the seas take you as you sail off under the dancing lights of the Aurora Borealis. And of course, to Umlaut's mind, he can see the Valkyries fly, the lights shining off the Valkyries' armor as they carry the slain heroes up to Valhalla. But of course, everybody else just sees the northern lights and the oars creak in the water, and the Drakkar sails off into the west, and that's where we'll leave it.
All right. Well, that was not exactly what I expected, but quite interesting. And now Thor has, he's got a life goal that I will to kill this fucking idiot.
Bolg the Bulge. Now there actually is a guy in the Icelandic sagas I'm reading now. It's not Bolg the Bulge. There's a guy whose name's like the Bulge, but they don't really describe why they called him that. And I think
we all know.
Great. Actually, those Icelandic sagas, if any listeners ever do try to read them, they're much less Lord of the Rings. They read more like The Sopranos, and they're real violent. There's a lot of like family on family feuding and fighting and lying and running away and coming back for revenge later, and a lot of these situations I've taken straight from the Icelandic sagas. So I highly recommend them. I did watch a little bit of the show Vikings, which I do believe follows the Icelandic sagas, and it's similar. Like it's there's just a lot of family drama. That's a big part of it. Yeah. Well, I will say this: we probably will go more. We usually do like little 3-parters, but sometimes we go more than 3, and I think this one probably will go a little more than 3. We have to see what's out there as the hammer of the gods drives this ship to new lands. So, Valhalla, we are coming next time. And I do want to thank once again Pound Sound UK and Svengbari for the music we used tonight. Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.